Shabbat Shalom. I would like to introduce you this week to 5 incredible young ladies. Their names are Machla, Noah, Chogla, Milka, and Tirza. Now you may say to me, Rabbi, who are these women? I've never heard of them before. They are the daughters of Tzelofchad and are the heroines of our parsha this morning. In our parasha, Moses is instructed to start the process of the inheritance of the land of Israel, how the land will be broken up amongst the 12 tribes. Each of the tribes would receive parcels of lands dependent upon the fathers who came out of Egypt. If your father came out of Egypt, you got a particular portion in the land of Israel. If the father had multiple sons, each of the sons would receive a portion divided from that original father. Tzelofchad had no sons, only daughters. And the question was what to do with their parcel of land. So the daughters appear before Moshe and Elazar and say to them, help us. We don't know according to the rules, we can't get any portion, but that's really not fair. Help. Moshe responds by saying, great question, I don't know. And he consults with God. God's response is that the girls are to receive a portion in the land of Israel. What an amazing story. It is showing the spirit of the Jewish people. These 5 girls loved the land of Israel and wanted to have a portion in the land. It is in stark contrast to compare what the spies we read about a few weeks ago, who did everything to get away from the land. But these girls were enthused, motivated, and wanted to have the land. But they couldn't. So they asked the question. And the answer, surprisingly, was in support of their arrival in the land, which is incredible. The lesson here for each and every one of us is don't be afraid to ask the questions. How many times do we sit down and we think to ourselves, the answer is definitely going to be no. How can I even think of asking the question? But it's through asking the question that maybe you'll get a yes answer. Many times I've asked questions assuming that the answer would certainly be forbidden, only to find that there is legal precedent and actually it is permitted. There's a famous story that they tell about the scientist Einstein. I don't know if the story is true, but it's a great story and teaches us this important principle. The story goes that when Einstein would come home from school, his mother would say to him, "Nu, Albert, did you ask a good question in class today?" She wasn't interested whether he had answered the teacher's question, rather had he asked a good question. Because it's through asking questions and through challenging the paradigms that we actually grow and we learn. The daughters of Tzelofchad certainly teach us this vital and important lesson. Don't be afraid to ask the question. Ein bur lomed. The fool does not learn, but it's through questioning. And if ever there was a religion that prided itself on questioning, it is Judaism. From the youngest child singing the Ma'nishtana at the Pesach Seder, we are imbued with the sense to challenge the paradigm, to ask the questions. Sometimes the answers will invariably be no. Sometimes the answer will be, I haven't thought about it. And sometimes the answer will be, the answer is actually you can. And the only reason we haven't is because we haven't thought about it. So never be afraid to ask the question, because through asking the questions, that is how we grow and we are blessed. So hail to the 5 ladies, Milka, Noah, Chogla, Machla, and Tirza. 5 heroes who we can certainly learn from. Shabbat Shalom.